Can you hear me on this? All right, I'm going to hang up the phone. Can you hear me on this?
Yes, I can hear you again.
Okay.
So apparently, it just doesn't like it when I unplug and try and plug back in.
Well, no unplugging and plugging back in then for you.
Okay. All right. I'll do my best. So now I've got to get back into this, and hopefully some people follow on over.
I'm going to let everybody know in the existing chat that there's a new stream.
Okay.
And don't forget to pull up your chat.
Yep. Yeah, I've got the chat pulled up. I got everything I think the way it should be, and I'm not going to touch anything, I promise.
It would be a new chat, so it wouldn't be the chat that we're in before.
All right. Oh, shoot, and it says unlisted. What the heck? Edit video.
Yeah, I'm not seeing you live.
Yeah, because for some reason it defaulted as unlisted, not public, which I don't understand. Public. Done. Save. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Is it there?
I'm still not seeing you live. What the hell is with technology today? Anyway, this is ridiculous. Here we go.
Oh, you see it?
Boost version 2.0. Got it.
All right. So now I have to get back to it. All right. Now I'm going to go back to my channel because this is... All right. So live. There we go. That's live. Pause it. There we go. So now I can look at myself stuck in frame chuckling. And here we are. There we are. All right. So Crazy Scrapping Kid, he's here. Let's try again. All right. We got 2 watching. How many are going to make it back over? I'm betting like half the people are going to be like, this guy's a knucklehead. Let's not go back.
Not at all. Trust me. Murphy's Law is in full effect on YouTube and all the technology herein.
Yes, Murphy is a dink.
Yes. Jack Scrap.
All right.
Jack Scrap. Dude. Welcome. It's great to see you.
Wait, that's the Diver Dude?
Yes. Jack. Nice. Diver Dude changed his name recently to Jack Scrap.
Nice. And there's Billy. He's here. Groovy.
Thank you so much, guys, for being patient with us while we ironed out the difficulties.
Yes. Yes, I am a walking technical difficulty. As I said before, I'm better at taking it apart than making it work.
Draper Mortimer, it's great to see you as well.
Let's talk scrap. What do you want to talk about, Scrapping Kid?
Yes, scrap. Hope you're all having a scrap happy day.
Yep. It's a great line, by the way. Scrap happy. Yeah. Scrap. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so he literally just talked scrap. That's okay.
That's okay. All right. I love scrap.
Right.
I love the fact that you get it for free and you turn it in for some money. I like that.
Yep. But there's more to life than scrapping. There's a lot more out there.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yep. All right. Yeah. See, we lost a whole bunch. We had like 30 at one point.
It's going to take. It'll probably take a few moments for people to find out that you're still live, or you have another live stream going on. But for those of you that are just popping into the chat, do you know that Moose Scrapper has a second channel called DIY Daddy? It's an awesome channel. You should check it out.
Yeah, it's all little tips and tricks of being a single parent. All this, cooking and baking and cleaning and carpentry and all that other stuff that trying to. So the Moose Scrapper channel is all about making money, and DIY Daddy is basically about saving money. So instead of hiring someone else to do something when you can do it yourself.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. All
right, so we're 8 in. All right. Good to see you too, Jack Scrap. How's the missus doing?
Yes, I haven't seen Mammy Mouse around lately. Has she changed her name too?
150 pounds of Romex. That's a lot of Romex to strip.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Moose is single. Moose has been single for almost 3 years now. Dated a little bit here and there, but yeah.
Yeah, the dating game
So 150
nowadays.
Right. Aha. So Mammy has just been busy lately.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
So
cool.
when you say aha, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, tell her she's missed.
Oh, okay. So when you say aha, are you referring to the Australian group Aha with the song "Take on Me," or just aha? No, Mammy has been. Sorry, that was horrible. I'll stop.
Were you even talking to me? Were you talking to me?
No, I wasn't talking to anyone. I was just nothing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So Jack Scrap likes to remind people that Christmas is coming. Awesome.
Yep. Christmas is definitely coming. Did you guys? For those of you that participate in Black Friday and the countries that participate in Black Friday, did you guys go out and shop at your brick and mortar stores, or did you shop from the comfort of your own home? Blue Scrapper shaking his head the whole time. He wants nothing to do with that. Cyber Monday is my gig.
Yep.
Delago, I like the shirt and mug combo too.
Yes.
And you too can own some of those if you wanted to.
Well, there have been some people who said they wanted to, support the channel. And while the whole super chat thing is cool, I'd rather someone get something back for what they're giving. So I've got a whole line of, mugs. Of course, this mug is the only mug in existence, right? Because the new one is changed. I didn't like the way they made this one. It wasn't like complete. So the new one is all white with black lettering, and juice is spelled like moose. So this is a collector item right here.
Clever.
But, for all those who want to support, yes, moose juice. Yeah, it's not really juice, just so you know.
Subtlety is key, Gil. Yeah.
It's not really juice. Oh, sorry.
It's show and tell our liquors. There we go.
Yeah, so I mean, it's in the bottom of all my videos. It's something that YouTube actually sponsored for me. For the most part, they put it at the bottom of all my videos. So if you want a t-shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie, tank top, coffee mug, whatever, just click on the link, and that's that. Yep. All right. So
I'm saving my pennies. I will have a Moose Juice coffee mug.
Oh, that. Speaking of Christmas, that might be your Christmas gift. That'd be a horrible Christmas gift, right? Here's some self-promotion for me.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Brick and mortar. Yes, crazy scrapper kid. If you know what that means actual like buildings that people go in to buy stuff instead of websites. Yeah, brick and mortar stores have not been doing well for a little while now. So
Big Ken got Moose Juice?
I certainly do. Every Friday and Saturday night.
Thank you, Mortimer, Draper Mortimer, for supporting DIY Daddy. Not a lot of people know that Moose Scrapper actually has a secondary channel called DIY Daddy. Please check it out, seriously. In fact, give me a moment, and I will put the link in the chat.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry. My showcasing channels shines through every once in a while.
There we go. Red Men Prospecting and Paranormal. Shoot, yeah, Moose Juice. Yeah. There was another person that comes on with some of these things. Is it Video Games and Whiskey Girl or something? Yeah. It's a good combo. I mean, I haven't played video games in years, but... Yeah. All right, so what do we got? Christmas is coming. Aha. Good day, mate. Hey, Big Keg. Nice to see you out there.
Good to see you, Big Keg.
And for those of you who don't know who that is, check him out. He'll teach you how to speak some Australian. It's a Fat Bastard Garage, and he's got a lot of great videos out there. He does some live streaming as well. Let's
He has
see.
fantastic videos, and he stepped up his intro too recently. It looks awesome.
Yep. Moose, what's your full-time job? Well, my full-time job is kind of hard to talk about because I work in the medical field as an assistant, but it's mental health, which has a lot of very, very strict privacy things that you need to be trained on. There's a lot of HIPAA laws to follow, so I can't really talk about it a whole lot. But that's my day job. Besides that, there's the eBay store, the YouTube channels, the scrapping thing.
You add it all up. It's like you kind of think to yourself, it's like, when do I even have time to sleep?
Right. Oh, I make time. Yeah, sleeping is my superpower, except if it wasn't for my arch nemesis having to pee, yeah, I'd be awesome at it.
I think sleeping is probably the that's probably the best talent that I have.
Hey, Senpai, or I think it's Senpai. You need to notice Mammy Mouse right now, okay? Notice her. Who's Senpai?
I noticed, Mammy Mouse. It's good to see you. Noticed. Mission accomplished, she says.
There we go.
So what's new, guys? Hope you're having a great weekend. If you have any questions for our awesome moose scrapper, please feel free to. I know he's shaking his head. I'm sorry. I got to work on that. If you have any questions for the crappy moose scrap, no, I'm just kidding.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
I'll take that title.
In all seriousness, you guys
well, really, all it takes is
moving
if you put the space in my name off by one letter, it's Moose's Crapper. So, hey.
Oh, my. Nice. That's what the coffee mug should have said.
That's right.
Oh, shoot.
Sorry,
I'm a Christmas crazy person. Basically, my brain is filled with Christmas from October 1st, Boxing Day. Not a real person until the new year. I hear you, Mammy. I hear you. The holidays do stuff to people. Yeah. Besides the warm and fuzzies.
You sound like my niece. She's my niece Morgan. She is all about Christmas. I mean, as before Thanksgiving is here, she's already like watching all the Hallmark Christmas movies and all that stuff. I mean, she's already asking, so when are we getting the tree? So, I mean, her and her mother, they live with me right now. So last year, she was a huge help in decorating. It was awesome. I mean, I went off for an afternoon, and when I came back, the whole house was already decorated. So.
88, welcome. It's good to see you. Darren Ekelman says, what's the most efficient way to make the most money scrapping?
Oh, honestly, from what I've seen, the most efficient way to make money scrapping, most time efficient way to make money scrapping is volume. So I see these people who have a truck, usually a truck and a trailer, and all they'll do all day long is just pick up iron all day long, and they'll make $400 or $500 a day just making multiple trips to the scrapyard with iron. That is pretty fast and efficient. They don't take a lot of time taking things apart. So could they make more money? Yes, but they'd end up spending a lot more time pulling stuff apart, like the motors out of things and aluminum, breaking it off of, like a dryer is a good example.
That's why people like the Scrap Kingdom say steel is the meal, because that's how you can get the most money, because it's the most abundant thing. Jeez. Mammy Mouse, you say you wish it was cold there at Christmas, but if it were actually cold there at Christmas, would you really want it cold? Think about that turducken of an enigma.
Was turducken a thing in Australia?
I don't know. You might be asking yourself, what the hell did he just say?
It's the most amazing.
Scrap Life 24/7, Jack Scrap. I am trying to get used to his new name. I so miss Scrap Kingdom's old name.
You changed name?
Yes, the Scrap Kingdom changed his name to Scrap Life 24/7 a couple, 2, 3 days ago. I just worry that, if I refer to him as Scrap Life 24/7, like the majority of people may not necessarily know who it is. You know what I mean? So it's like when I see Jack Scrap, I'm like, do people know that that's the diver dude?
Well, the first thing that pops in my head is Jack the Scrapper, that the guy from the other side of Canada, who was into scrapping videos like 5 years ago or so. So yeah, it took me a second, like, oh, that's not really quite the same person. Now that I know it's Diver Dude.
Yep. Oh, it took me a good 3 or 4 days after he changed his name, of him being in my chats and everything, for me to realize it was actually the Diver Dude. Sitting there, Jack Scrap. Hey, Jack Scrap, how you doing? How you doing? Wait, that's the Diver Dude. But let's see. Darren Eckelman asks, do you guys only sell parts on eBay or other stuff?
You want to go on that, Gil, or Bob? Do you want me to hit that one?
It really depends on the size of whatever I'm selling, to be honest with you. I mean, if it's a really big item, I try to sell things more like on the Facebook barter swap sites, locally, Craigslist. In Maine here, we have an online website or a book called Uncle Henry's. We list in there. I got to put a plug in for us Mainers.
Well, it's New England, I think, right? They go to Vermont.
Yeah, that's true. That is true too. But if it's small enough, I'll sell it on eBay, because I mean it could go all over the country or beyond. But if it's too big, I like people to come pick it up versus me shipping it out.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, pretty much the same thing, depending on the value, though, because I have shipped some very interesting things on eBay. I had an outboard motor that I shipped, which was, I mean, it wasn't really that heavy. It was under 100 pounds, but the box, I had to put it on the wooden stand that it came with, because it was like a package deal. So the box was maybe a little bit bigger than half the size of a refrigerator. So that was fun. But hey, buyer paid all the shipping. So, but yeah, eBay is my go-to thing. It's just because I'm so used to it. It's very fluid for me to find something, look up the value really quick, post it, and then just be done with it. Stick it in the garage somewhere until it sells.
Yeah. It's actually a lifesaver, especially with the smaller stuff for me. Maybe one says it's so hot at Christmas. It's 88 degrees Fahrenheit, ATM, and it isn't even summer yet. I hate swearing my ass off while I cook all day long. Yeah, that is definitely a conundrum. That is for darn sure.
Yep.
I suppose I see what you mean. Alan, yes, I'm just going to call you now. Hi, how are you?
So Darren Eckelman, I stopped stripping wire for copper because it takes a lot of time, even with my wire stripper tool. Yep, it's not for everyone. I mean, the biggest thing with scrapping metal and stuff like that is you have to ask yourself, bottom line, what's your time worth? I mean, if it's not worth your time to do it, then that's fine. You sell it as Romex or whatever class of wire it is. But for those who want to make a little extra money and have the time, go ahead and strip it.
Skycam. Yes. Oh, I love you too. All right. Here. All right, go lay down. Be a good girl.
So we got, where did I see that? So Crazy Scrapping Kit. I also work for a local school district here in Southern Maine, and I get a lot of scrap e-waste for free. Yeah, man. I mean, some of those deals are really great. I used to have a friend who worked for a local municipality, and I mean, there were times when he would get like tons of iPads that they just upgraded. There was nothing wrong with them, but they were just going to toss them out. So a lot of the stuff is, if you can find a deal like that, you've got it pretty good.
Right, Mammy Mouse? My goodness. She says Americans complain about $5 shipping, and if there's something that's under $10 to ship, 9 out of 10. I'm like, what a goddamn bargain! Bargain! Go lay down.
Shipping it's one of those things that when I first started on eBay, it really caused a lot of problem with my profit margin. But you learn some tips and tricks. You learn to really start using the flat rate mailers, and most of the time you're having the buyer pay for shipping, so you don't even have to worry about it. You just mark it in your listing that I'm using a medium flat rate box. You're going to pay $14.95, and there's the echo again. That was weird.
See, that's rough, Big Keg. He says, Moose, to buy something in the USA for $8 costs us $26 after shipping.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you find yourself in that sort of situation often, Big Keg, where you're ordering stuff? I mean, do you order a lot from the US? E-Cycle Nation, welcome. Wow. What was that?
I was just thinking back to that recycled dude's little on hold picture where it's like you see a little picture of a toilet in the bottom.
I want a lot but can't afford it. I hear you. I am in the same boat there, my friend. Trust me. We barely have enough to get the kids some of the things they want. So I hear you.
Yep. That's
hey,
why
guess
we're
who popped in? Jackpot Digger, welcome.
What up, Jackpot?
What? So is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, Moose? Any conversational starting topics?
Well, a couple of shout-outs. I wanted to say thanks again to Geo and Three Tips. Wow, the echo just got really bad.
That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, it's winter time, so things are slowing down on my end a little bit. So you're going to be seeing me scrap stuff in my living room instead of in the garage. Laugh it up. Laugh it up. Is it only coming out of one headphone?
What's that?
I was just wondering if it's only coming out of one headphone.
It's weird. So am I echoing, or are you hearing yourself?
Nope, just me. Of all the people that I don't want to hear twice, me.
So nice, you hear it twice.
All right, so there's a bit of echo on Mouse side. On Moose side.
John says, it's that headset. Might be why you found it.
Right. But I can't unplug it, because if I unplug it, I lose everything. So the next live stream, I'll make sure I'm better.
That's what I do. Scrap all my stuff in the living room. So now basically strip wire, pipes, spigots. Cool.
Yeah, scrap and crash. I do not have my PC speakers on.
That's odd. You know what? Let me do this. I'm gonna mute my mic, and Moose, if you don't mind talking to the chat for a little bit. I just want to test and see if they're hearing you coming through my speakers and back through my mic again. Muting now.
All right. So I don't know if you guys can. No, version 3.0 will be better. Hope so. I hope so. I'm hoping to get a better. Well, I don't know if my picture is coming off as fuzzy to you folks, but I'm hoping to at some point get a better camera for the PC. And I mean, this I just found scrapping, so I figured I'd try it out. Apparently, it's not working that great. So it's better now, according to Delago. So I'm not sure what that means. Yep, no more echo. Oh. So it might be the camera. It might be the microphone on your camera. Is there any way to like I don't know, put a little tape on it or something? No echo. Skillz is guilty. Uh oh, that's better. Well, no, it's not better with Gil muted. Big keg. That is not better. Just the echo is better. All right, folks. So we got a bunch of people in here. We got 18 people watching now. Sweet. I want to thank you all for hitting that like button. So I guess while I'm waiting for my co-host here, I'm going to go over a couple of other quick things. So as some of you folks might know, I don't know if many of you are subscribers or not, but I'm almost at the 50,000 subscriber mark. I'm hoping to get there by the end of the year. Now he's gone. Sorry, I can see him and you guys can't. So I'm he's under the desk. That's awesome. So I'm hoping that if all I need is like 20 new subscribers a day, every day for the next 35 days, which kind of seems like a lot, but oh well. If it happens, that'd be awesome. If not, oh well, it'll happen eventually. Well, I don't know if I deserve it, but I'd enjoy it. That's for sure. I'm curious to see if anything changes. I was talking to Bob earlier before the live chat started about, now that I'm getting butt crack. Wow. Can you see Gil too? Oh, never mind. Yeah, I totally forgot what I was talking about, but that's okay. All right.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you amazingly well.
Fantastic.
Nice headset.
Thanks, buddy. It's my work headset.
Ooh. Yeah, it looks a little higher quality than mine.
Yeah, it's meant to talk to customers and being tossed across the room when you get to deal with angry customers. So guys, just let us know if there's any more echo.
So Jackpot Digger wants to know what's up with the scrap game. Bought a trailer. If I understood well, your last vid. No, that last video that's kind of a funny thing. So several years ago, like maybe 4 years ago, someone had responded to one of my ads that I had on Craigslist about recycling metal. This woman just lost her father, who was a master electrician, and she needed help cleaning out his garage. She's apparently also a little bit of a hoarder. So like 7 or 8 trips later, I finally got just about everything out, and then started just like helping her get rid of trash as well. And like a month and a half ago, she kept my phone number and started texting me out of the blue. Apparently her son got into scrapping. And he was bringing home stuff like refrigerators and tube TVs and stuff that are kind of hard to like get rid of. So that whole video is basically like, kid's name, who may or may not be Hunter, as stated in the title. This is stuff that you should probably stay away from. You need to be courteous of your neighbors. You need to make sure you're not making up a mess on your mom's lawn, that kind of stuff. It was kind of like it was more of a personal video than a big scrap world video. But no, I did not get a trailer. He just lost a chunk of it while he was going up I-95 because he didn't strap it down.
Oops.
All right, sound good now, boys. Thank you, Jack Scrap.
It's good to hear. Yep. So I was definitely the guilty party.
Just ended after 7 years to clean.
I agree, Jack Scrap. Moose Scrapper does deserve 50,000 subscribers and beyond.
All right, what's going scrap price for everyone in your areas? Since oil is going down, should scrap be going up? I'm not really sure they're related there, John. It might be. I mean, if I know that if fuel prices for like gas, if that goes down, gas and diesel, then the cost of transport goes down. So places like here in Maine, where we have some scrap yards that are way up in the county, and they have to truck it all down here to the ports. Um, they pay less, but if they have less fuel expenses, they can pay a little bit more. Um, but I don't really know. It's a good question. Bob?
I'm sorry, I missed it. I missed
It
it.
was,
I
something
was
about that.
distracted by something else that was on my other monitor.
What's on your other monitor there, Bob?
You.
Yeah.
In a per curious, you got a funny look on your face. I'm looking over and I'm like,
Wow. I can't imagine me having a funny look on my face.
me neither.
My trailer cake came off twice this week, hoping to fix tomorrow. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. You don't want that to. I mean, it would really be horrible if you're out there scrapping, trying to make some money, then part of your trailer flies off and hits another vehicle. Then you have to pay to fix their vehicle.
No,
There goes
that
your scrap
would
money.
not be cool at all. No, that would be bad for anybody's day.
Let's see, Anthony, all the best, Moose. Thank you. Same to you.
Dennis B, it's always good to see you. Have a great day or evening.
The
Or
intro
both.
of the last video perfectly describes me. All right.
Let's see. Jeremy Seward says, do you have a market for selling plastic?
Not here, no. But I have heard, I think it was the video that I did on scrapping a TV or a monitor, where someone had posted that they have in their town a place that actually buys that plastic. I mean, they don't pay much; it's like 2 cents a pound. But still, I mean, it doesn't take much to, or it doesn't take long to come up with several pounds of plastic if you're scrapping a lot of, electronics.
Yeah.
But
Plastic
that's
is
something.
just as abundant as any e-waste or, even
Right.
steel, I would think, almost.
I would think if you were to contact your local chamber of commerce, they might be able to tell you if there's any businesses that do that. I think that they're the ones who would keep that information or have that information for you. Have a good night, Dennis B. Dennis B. Is Dennis B leaving? Gotta go, guys. Well, that was quick. Well, thanks for joining us, Dennis B. That was fast.
Yes.
Personally, I have so many straps ratcheted, don't really care how strong is my trailer. Yeah, sometimes you see trailers that you wonder what's holding them together. But if you get those ratchet straps down,
Jackpot Digger's got it down. When I think everything is tight and well, straps, I add 2 more.
better safe than sorry.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Especially like big sheets, big steel sheets or whatever. Can you imagine that happening, flying off your trailer and hitting somebody else's car or truck?
Well, that's an interesting idea from John Zareth. Jeremy, see if you have any 3D printing companies in your area. See if they will buy the ABS from locals. Then use a wood chipper to break it up and save space. Sorry, folks, I'm just having a hard time reading and speaking tonight. Started earlier, much earlier.
That is an excellent idea. Seriously, I mean, I wish there was a market in the area for plastic.
Yeah, that would be great.
Alago, thank you so much for stopping by. We really do appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right. 5 years, no accident. That's good. That's good, Jackpot.
Yep. You want to maintain that streak, brother.
Yep. All right. So, any questions? Anything that you guys, anything you want to? I don't know. Anything about eBay or anything else? You just want to, I don't know, compare shoe sizes.
Yeah, this is your chat, guys. I mean, if you have any questions that you want answered, or even if you have questions on trying to grow your YouTube channel, because this chat's not just about scrap. This chat is about pretty much anything that you want to talk about, as long as it's legal.
Right, and if it's not legal, you better be having fun. That's
Yeah. Got somebody to deal with. I probably throw 10 to 15 ton a year. Wow. Of glass, you mean? Yeah.
The downside of owning a Honda is the lack of space to hold scrap. Well, my first scrapmobile was a two-door Chevy Impala. So, yeah, I feel your pain, bud. Those are some good days. That's trying to someone call you up and you say, oh, a projection screen TV, I want that gold-plated DLP chip, and then you're like, yeah, that's not going to fit in the trunk. And then you end up like roping things down and trying to bungee, doing what Jackpot Digger with the trailer. Too many straps and stuff, and it's just not working. But
see, I accessorized my Toyota. Of course, I got an SUV, but I got a trailer for that SUV too. So depending on how big the item is or how plentiful, like washer, dryer, or if there's a bunch of stuff that I want to pick up somewhere, it's definitely worth having a trailer if you don't have a truck or a box truck or anything like that.
Yeah, that would be the smart thing to do, which is why I didn't do it. Plus, I mean, at the time, this is when I was just starting scrapping, and I was like really strapped for cash, and for that, I would have had to have had someone weld in that bottom part underneath the back bumper for the trailer hitch, and so yeah, it was $200 I didn't want to spend. But anyway, so
did you see what Jeremy Stewart said? I recycle a lot of electronics and use a wood chipper shredder to break up low-grade boards for gold pin recovery. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of like what Mount Baker Mining does. I mean, they don't use a wood chipper. They have these really massive shredders. Different. It's like wow, crushers. There we go, rock crushers that they use for that stuff. I mean, they use it for everything, for wire, for transformers. I mean, these things are monsters. You can throw, those massive microwave transformers in there, and just out comes the copper and the steel separated.
Really? So, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, if you,
that's a heavy-duty machine.
Yep. MBM LLC. You got to check that YouTube channel out. There's some pretty, and they do a lot of great work. I mean, they're basically a gold mining company. They provide materials and equipment, but they also go over to like Africa, where you've got these people who are still using mercury, toxic mercury and stuff to mine gold, and they're setting them up with this equipment that is mercury free. So they do some really nice work.
John Zerath says, do you sell any RAM sticks on eBay? If so, what size RAM?
I do not sell RAM sticks or RAM chicks on eBay. RAM is one of the things that I personally can process every part of it myself. So I tend to keep them for myself.
And Jack Scrap asks, van or pickup, which would you recommend?
Oh.
Yeah, see, now you're getting it. It's almost borderline philosophical, because like owning a pickup, there's a following for pickup trucks alone.
And here in Maine, I mean, pickups are,
pickups and 4x4s, it's almost a necessity. But at the same time, there's something to be said for a van, especially if you're working in inclement weather. You can throw all your scrap in there and it's not going to get wet and all that fun stuff.
Well, I guess I would ask this: what do you scrap? If you're out there scrapping steel and iron and just going for the bulk, pick up, get a truck.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be doing a lot of computers, a lot of electronics, I mean, E-Waste Ben, I mean, that little van can hold a lot of stuff.
That's true.
So that's.
Bottom line is it depends on your situation, like he said, and what kind of volume you're looking at. But there's something to be said also for getting a trailer. So either way, you could get yourself a trailer. I've got a 5x8 foot trailer, and that will pick up anything that a truck would pick up.
Oh no, E-Cycle Nation has to leave. Mama says it's time to go. Happy Thanksgiving, and I hope everyone is careful out there. Thank you very much, you too. If you're leaving, drive safe or whatever you're doing.
Have a good night, E-Cycle Nation. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Yeah, remember, keep your stick on the ice. We're all in this together. Sorry, a little red-green reference there.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, and that ding dong that people keep commenting in my videos, that's not my doorbell. That's a doorbell from my phone. It's just let people know.
Would you buy RAM for gold recovery?
No. Plain and simple.
There's too much free stuff out there to buy it.
Well, not only that, I get asked that a lot. You know, where do you buy your scrap? And I don't buy any scrap. The thing is with buying scrap, and a lot of people do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bad-mouthing or putting it down or saying that you shouldn't. I'm just saying that the people who do buy scrap are the ones who are really efficient at getting every last bit of precious metals out of there, and they buy a lot of it, so it's worth it for them.
Right.
For me, if I were to buy scrap, number one, most places, like if you go to eBay, you're going to pay way too much for it. Because electronic scrap on eBay is always way overpriced. But, I mean, if I were going to buy it, I'd have to make sure that, one, I'm making enough money out of it to pay for the chemicals to recover what I paid for it, period, and to make it my time worth it. And that's where it gets really tricky. So I keep ending these things not really knowing if I actually answered the question or not.
You did pretty good. Big Cake says, look what Shane Man fits in his little van. That is true. I mean, he's fit. I mean, he stuffed almost the entire thing chock full of stuff on many occasions. So that is the absolute truth there. Look what Canadian treasure hunting put in his keg. Trust me, it is insane. I collect aluminum cans every time I take a load in. It's about 1855 gallon bags. Wow. Is there good gold in RAM stick IC chips? Well, that's an easy answer, huh?
Yep. Yes, there is.
Yep.
I'm not going to get up, but if you look, well, you won't be able to see it, but back there on my shelf, I've got a jar of that, well, the video that Bob was in with me and Tony Trailers. We incinerated those IC chips. Those are pretty much all RAM IC chips, and I haven't completely separated it out, but there's at least 2.5, maybe 3 grams of gold, so $120 worth of gold out of, you know, not very many chips.
Well worth it.
And that's not including the gold that came off the trimmed fingers. So you have that as well. So RAM sticks are a nice little thing to hold on to if you know how to recover gold.
Absolutely.
Yes, crazy scrapping kid. We're lucky here in Maine where we can get deposit price for bottles and cans. You're absolutely right. I did a video that never got posted on how many aluminum cans it takes to make a pound, and is it worth it doing it if your state pays like bottle deposits. And it's not, because it takes like 20 some odd cans to make a pound, or over 20 some odd cans. And you're going to get 5 cents per can here no matter what. So right. 20 is $1, where 20 could be 40 cents, 50 cents, depending on the price of aluminum at the time. So yes, it's definitely worth it to bring them into the recycling center, not the scrapyard.
Especially in Michigan. I think Michigan gets 10 cents per can. Do they not?
Yes. Somebody know a Canadian buyer legit for RAM and IC chip? Sorry, dude. A Canadian buyer? No. But if you were to check out the gold refining forum, they actually have a section there for people who are buying and selling material. I'm sure you could go there, and for the most part, you know, the gold refining forum, those are people who they know what they're doing, they know the value of stuff, and they'd probably be able to find, or you should be able to find someone there fairly easily.
Can you guys still hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh man, you've been hearing me cough this entire time. I have this little mute button on here, and I thought I was muting, and you guys weren't hearing that. Sorry.
Oh.
Never mind. I'll use this mute. Is there we go. I've been coughing in people's ears. Oh, so sorry, guys. I've been coughing in everybody's ears.
Yeah, I've got a mute button too, so I can make Gil laugh, and you guys be like, what's he laughing at?
Exactly. You guys should be laughing too. You see that too.
No, they can't see it. Can they? No,
They
they
can
only
see
see whose mic is. No,
What?
but they only see whose mic is like making the noise.
Oh, that is very, very true.
Haha. All right.
But it's the
so
last person that made noise.
Ew. Oops. All right. So, Justin, it depends on the RAM. It takes about 16 RAM sticks to make a gram. It takes 28.5 grams to make an ounce. Kind of lets you know how many you need. Yeah, a whole lot. And that 16 RAM sticks to make a gram, that's got to be the whole RAM stick. I mean, IC chips and gold fingers. That seems like a fairly low number to make a gram. Because I know it takes at least a half a pound of just trim fingers to make close to a gram of gold.
Jackpot says, so right now, what is your gear for scrap moose?
Hi, David Dodd. So what is my gear for... Wait, where's the question? So right now, what is your gear for scrap? Moose didn't cut it right. My gear for scrap? Like what tools I use? I think I need clarification on that.
I think he clarified in his next statement. A van, trailer.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yep, I've got an old beat up GMC pickup, a Sierra 1500. I have no trailer. I'd love to have a trailer. That would be awesome. That way I could pick up like larger steel items and then just park the trailer on the side of my garage and then leave it there until it's full and then make a trip to the scrapyard instead of leaving stuff in the bed of my truck until I have enough to. Anyway, trailer. Hopefully this summer I'll see if I can get Tomy Trailers to manufacture one for me. See if we can do that. He seems like he'd build a quality product. So
Absolutely.
if you guys haven't checked it, anyone here in Maine, check him out. He builds a lot of stuff with metal.
Crazy Scrapping Kid asks, do you use any scrapping tools that you have not shown in a video before?
Yes, but the aliens have told me not to share those tools with you. No, pretty much. I mean, pretty much everything that I use. I got my Robo Grip pliers, my little flush cutters, and then the rest is all screwdrivers. That little pry bar that a lot of people seem to love. A lot of Torx bits. So yeah, that's everything that you see is what I use. I don't hide anything behind the camera. Well, that's not true.
Jack Scrap, thank you so much for stopping by, buddy. It's always good to see you.
Peace. Have a good night. Info you provide, OS priceless. All right.
Well, it definitely helps. Every little bit helps if you you want to get involved in scrap. And there's a lot of benefits of scrapping, but there's a lot of pitfalls in scrapping too. If you don't know certain things, you could end up costing yourself more money than saving or making, scrapping. So,
right.
Absolutely. In case in point, Moose made a video fairly recently about that.
Yep. Yeah, you could end up picking up a bunch of tube TVs and be like, oh, now I get paid to get rid of the leaded glass tubes. Or you could get a whole bunch of fluorescent light fixtures. And then be like, oh, now I've got to get rid of 100 fluorescent light bulbs.
Yeah. I made that same mistake too, and that's one of the reasons I put it in my intro. You see a whole bunch of TVs come, flash into existence on my bench. Well, I had to pay to get those TVs, those tubes, properly taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Jackpot Digger says, I never opened up a compressor because you saved me that mess. Yeah, it is messy. There's a lot of oil in there.
Some of them you could drain in advance, but some of them you can't.
I have 3 sets of tools, one in the car, one in the garage, one in the basement. Yep, that sounds like me. I've got a set at work because over there I'm like Mr. Fix-It. I've got a set in the garage, a set in the living room. Yep.
So David Dodd, welcome, is asking, which is better, muriatic acid or peroxide or bleach?
So which is better, muriatic acid and peroxide or bleach?
Correct.
Well, they're 2 different processes, really. So muriatic acid and peroxide, that's the purpose of that solution is to dissolve copper and base metals like or copper containing base metals, typically like brass or copper. But the combination of hydrochloric acid and bleach, that is something that you would use to dissolve gold. But you want to be careful when using that because, number one, it's a lot more dangerous. The fumes, I mean, you're basically creating chlorine gas, which is what they use in like World War I. So it's really toxic and it can be lethal. But that combination is usually used to dissolve like fine gold powder. If you use it for anything else, you risk dissolving some of the copper underneath it and contaminating whatever you're trying to purify. So the hydrochloric acid and bleach is more for like a refining. It's not the best refining. Aqua Regia is the best refining method. You won't get 999 fine gold with HCl and bleach, but they're for 2 different things, really.
YouTube, or see, 2 TVs need to be broken for 20 minutes to oxidize the mercury and make it inert. I did not know that. Did you?
No, I did not. I did not know that. I know that they have lead in the glass, but it's encapsulated, and there's phosphorus powder in the tube. I know for a while there was a lot of people who thought that when you crack the tube open, deadly xenon gas came out, when in actuality it's a vacuum in there. So you have to like worry about when the air rushes in, some of that phosphorus powder can come flying out at you, which is not really good to breathe either.
Right.
But I didn't know that yeah.
Beer Chef, by the way, welcome. Crazy Scrapping Kid says, I gotta go. Can't wait for the next live stream. You guys have a good night. Scrap on.
All right. So Big Keg says, how do you price something for eBay when you can't find any information on it? I have 2 items on eBay. One has a lot of attention, the other nothing. Well, if it has a lot of attention, but it's not selling and it's been there for a little while, it's probably priced a little high. So bring down the price, in small increments. Like let's say you're asking $20 for it, drop it down to $18.99 and let it sit there for a week. If it doesn't sell in a week, drop it down another $1. But as far as finding the value of something, I mean, Google is invaluable. eBay is invaluable. When it comes to finding the value of something, as long as you can find like some kind of solid identifier on the item, like a model number or a maker or a date or something that can help you, solidly identify what that item specifically is.
Good question. Let's see. Justin Witt asks, what is the cheapest way to make Aqua Regia?
Okay, so first and foremost, guys, this is something that anyone who's watched my videos knows that I don't talk about nitric acid at all because I don't feel I know enough about it to safely give any information out on it. Geo, his channel, Sri Tips, Indeed It Does, these guys know what they're talking about. So the cheapest way to make Aqua Regia, what I'm about to tell you, you need to follow up with your own research on this, all right? So it depends on what you want to use it for. There's Aqua Regia, and if you want to make Aqua Regia or poor man's Aqua Regia, you can use other things like fertilizers. There's nitrate of soda, which is something that Geo had recommended for me to start using, which I'm preparing to make some videos this spring It's not exactly aqua regia, but it will dissolve base metals like aqua regia. But otherwise, if you want to make nitric acid, that I can't help you with. I can't do it right now. I don't really know specifically, and I can't go through it clearly enough and safely enough where I would feel comfortable even talking about that. So apologize. But again, the gold refining forum, great information there. CM Hoke's book on precious metal recovery and refining, it's a wonderful book. It was written almost 100 years ago, but that's still the gold standard today. Especially the edited version where they tell you that it's in the new version where it's not okay to dump your chemicals in the sink when you're done. But back then, apparently, it was fine. But yeah, I would recommend that book to anyone who's interested in gold recovery and refining.
Great Workman asks, what's the best cutters for circuit boards?
I got these at Harbor Freight for like $3. They're like tin snips, and they work really well for cutting off like gold fingers. I assume that's what you're talking about. What you want to cut circuit boards with? If not, let me know.
That's a good enough answer for me.
I mean, it's Harbor Freight, so I think that the name brand is actually made in China. So.
Did you say the name brand is actually made in China?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So buy made in China, guys. Buy. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see, Big Keg. Both are auctions with 4 days left. 10 watchers on one and none on the other. Priced similar and similar items.
Yeah, see, I don't do auctions anymore. Auctions I found to be frustrating because you have things like this. We have so many people who watch, but they're not. Most people who are experienced buyers on eBay, they like to wait till like the last couple of minutes before they bid. And if you're selling worldwide, what could be 12 in the afternoon here is 3 o'clock in the morning somewhere else. So they're not going to be watching it. They're interested. I try and stick to buy it now sales. I've been doing that for the last 6 or 7 years, and it's really served me quite well. You don't have to worry. Number one, if someone wins an auction, they have like 7+ days to pay for it. With a buy it now, you set it so they have to pay now, so you don't have to wait. There's a lot of other benefits that I feel are worth going to buy it now. Now, with your items, you say you're not really sure what the values are. So again, when you don't know, that's when it gets a little bit, sketchy. But if you can feel, or if you have an idea of what you think you would be happy to get for that item, start off with a buy it now with that. And if you don't get it in a few weeks, then drop the price down. I mean, you don't have to worry about, the item's not going to disappear. It's yours. You have it. So I think for me personally, that's the best way to go.
Big Case says that it's a base mobile ham radio and a UHF, both from the dumpster. Awesome.
Okay. Some of those weird electronics, though, it's amazing the weird prices you get for them. I had this Sony. It was a Sony Walkman recorder. It was like one of those little like cassette recorders with a micro cassette. That sold for like $120. It was ridiculous. I was like, this technology is completely obsolete, but apparently it was a good unit that a lot of people belonged to a therapist, so they would use it during their sessions. But apparently, it had more value than I thought. So it's good to keep your mind open.
Indeed.
All right. Cody's lab showed making nitric once. Yes, he did. And he's also taking all the liability for that video, which I'm perfectly fine with.
Let's see. Bear Chef asks or says, I get about 350 RAM cards. Do I refine, snip, and sell the fingers, or sell the cards or whole? I would assume that meant whole.
Mm-hmm. That's entirely up to you. I mean, what do you want? Do you want money? Do you want to have a little nugget of gold? Do you want to have both? There's literally 3 different ways you can do this. One, you can recover it all by yourself with very little chemicals required. 2, you can trim the fingers off and just recover the gold off that and then sell the rest of the ram stick with the ICs on it. There are companies out there that'll still buy that for, $10, $15 a pound. Or 3, you can sell the whole thing as is. So that's entirely up to you, really. Just keep in mind that whenever someone is going to pay you for these materials, they have to make a profit too. So you're going to be making less money by selling it than if you were to recover it yourself, especially if you're going to be doing this ongoing. Because, I mean, like with AP, once you buy the chemicals for that, you can process so many freaking fingers with that 1 gallon of hydrochloric acid. More than makes up for what you would lose selling it to a refiner. Took me a minute to process how to say that. Sorry.
Recycle Dude's in the house. Welcome. It's great to see you, buddy. Thanks, John. We'll do. See if it sells. Both were free. Yeah, you gotta love free. Like, getting it for free, selling it for money. That's awesome. Indeedy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Moose Grapple, we're back up to 27 people in the room. This is awesome.
Yeah, I think we still lost a few of those from that first stream.
Well, it's unfortunate, but that's one thing that I've experienced a lot of lately is technical difficulties. So, so I can relate. But most everybody's back, and a few new folks too.
Yep. All right. So, just looking over my checklist here. So yeah, I think I mentioned in version 1.0 of this stream, which ended tragically. I just wanted to send out another thanks to all those people who helped out my friend Bob Gill over here with that GoFundMe. We were able to help get him only halfway there to that computer that you got.
Yeah, seriously, thank you guys so much. Without your help, I wouldn't have been able to get this new/used computer. Which is totally awesome, by the way. So I really do appreciate your support.
All right. Now, I just had I'm going to use this format here to kind of cheat a little bit and answer a couple of questions that I've had fairly frequently from people who watch. They want to know what kind of camera I use for my videos. It is nothing special. It is a Sony Handycam HD. It's the HDR CX2200 8.9 megapixels. So this is it. Everything that you see in my channel, except for these live streams, is filmed on this little guy. And unfortunately, I've been using the Adobe Premiere Elements, which has a glitch that they've never fixed, and I can only upload minutes that are 15 minutes or less. So sometimes you'll see like a video that has part 1 and part 2. That's because of that. So, but hopefully within the next year or so, I'll get some better software.
Bear Chef says, old sticks 2Gs or smaller. Would eBay be a place to sell? They seem to have way overinflated prices.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you have gold-plated material that you want to sell, or sorry, gold-containing material, eBay is the place to sell it. It is a seller's market. Unfortunately, people are so extremely willing to overpay for this stuff. You kind of have to ask yourself, are you kind of partially taking advantage of that? Because a lot of these people get excited about, oh, I'm going to get some gold out of this. Great. They have this image in their head of this massive gold nugget when they're done, and when instead it's that big. So yeah, I mean, you can get really great prices for, I mean, hell, I've seen like eBay sales from like just 10 little random pieces of trimmed finger selling for like over $10. I mean, there's maybe 25 cents worth of gold there. So it's ridiculous the prices you can get. So yes, eBay would be the best place to sell it.
Jackpot Digger asks, what's the average price today for RAM in the USA? My scrapyard is buying for $3.50 per pound. It's madness.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that here. For the full RAM stick, I think I've seen 13 to $15 a pound recently.
Board
For
Sort, I
the,
think, is taking them for 15 a pound right now, I think.
now just the trimmed fingers is more like $40 a pound, and the rest of the RAM stick it's like $3 or $4 a pound. But yeah, it's a lot higher than 350.
My AP solution turned black. Any idea what went wrong? David Dodd.
It turned black. Well, my question for you would be, what happens if you add a little bit more peroxide to it? Is it really black, or is it just really, really dark emerald green? Because a lot of times it looks black, but it's really kind of green, and that's just the copper and nickel dissolved into the solution. So that's perfectly fine.
Let's see, guys. How do you tell the difference between brass and copper? That's Sophia Adas.
Usually color.
Yeah, brass is more of the color of. It looks a little more like gold. Copper is a little bit more orange and reddish in nature.
Brass is usually how would I say this? If you hit it with a hammer, brass is more likely to crack. Copper is more likely to bend. I mean, there is red brass, which can be sometimes confusing with copper, but that as well. I mean, yeah.
Let's see.
In most cases, if you're really confused, you can bring it to your scrapyard, and a lot of places will have like an XRF gun or something they can hit it with just to verify.
Are 8 gig RAM sticks rare? I have some. In the scrapping world, yeah, they're fairly rare. I would have to admit, that's a pretty big RAM card. So you would definitely, if it's working, if you could find a way to test it, that's definitely worth selling on eBay versus scrapping for sure. I feel very confident answering that.
I would agree.
They're not rare, recycled. They're not rare in terms of selling them. I mean, you see them all day long. But if you were to come across a computer, a scrap computer, it's pretty rare to find an 8 gig card, or at least in my experience.
Yep.
I should disclose that.
Jackpot Digger. I really don't understand why I can't get more than 350 at a scrapyard. Well, I mean, it's a scrapyard, so there again, I mean, they need to make money as well. And when they're taking RAM sticks, they're usually, I mean, at least with the scrapyards that I've dealt with, they take all RAM sticks. So they're not separating out the ones that are like have tin fingers, which are worth a hell of a lot less than the ones with gold fingers on them. Rambus, which have like those big metal chunks on them. So they're taking them by weight. So a lot of times, it's all grouped together. So yeah, they kind of give you like the bottom of the barrel price. I can kind of understand that for a scrapyard. However, could they be paying you a little bit more? Sure, they could. But they have to make money at the end of the day too.
I have about 600 pounds of mixed e-scrap. I'm not going to do board sort. I used a refiner in the Midwest a few years ago, and I'm happy. Thoughts?
If you used a refiner in the Midwest to trap you with, keep using them.
The bottom line is you have to go where you feel you're getting a better overall deal, I would suppose.
Right.
Oh, yeah, scrapping, yes, you are right. Okay. Thank you, Recycle. Let's see, BK, those 8 gigs are new size. Search for the current prices on those. There are 8 gigs really have been around for a while. 8 gigs RAMs. In fact, there are 16 gigabytes and even 32 gigabyte RAM sticks now. But those haven't been around for a while, but they are around now. Moose, I just wanted to say thanks for the content and glad you've been much more active lately. Always excited to see your vids as soon as they are uploaded. Centricus.
Well, thank you very much. I am trying to be a little bit more active with it. I'm trying to it's something that I enjoy, and I want to be able to put more time into it. Now that summer's done and I don't have my garden, which I also enjoy quite a bit. I don't have. In the summertime, I like being outdoors. I live in Maine. Summers here are short, so when they are here, I try and get out there and enjoy it as much as I can. But now, the fall's creeping in, and the holidays are pretty much all done. My daughter's birthday was last month, so that's out of the way. So I've got a lot of more time than I can put towards this. So yes, I am trying to be more active. I've got another 9 videos. I've actually got all the way up to my 250th video filmed and edited and ready to release. I'm just doing these monthly polls to see who wants to see what first.
That's awesome. Seriously.
So
I wish I was that far out ahead.
So I'm hoping that by December 31st, I will have released my 250th video, and I will have 50,000 subscribers. I'm hoping to kick off those 2 milestones at once.
Booyah. All right. So Christy says, I don't understand people's desire to go through boardsort.com nor selling electronic scrap. Mike the Scrapper supports them too. Scrap for computer scrap has always been better for me. Or cash for computer scrap, sorry, has always been better for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a 2-part video on them. I've had a couple of bad experiences with them, so
check out the video.
Right. And granted, my experience may not be the norm. In the past, I've had a good experience with them. So, this last experience just happened to be really bad for me. So I'm not going to say you shouldn't use them. After that scrape that I had with that guy in Canada last year, I'm never going to tell anyone who they should go to ever again, because you never know. I'm just saying that, do your research and do what works best for you. And if it works great for you, share it. That's great. But yeah, that's.
Well, there's really not much more that you could say than that.
Yeah.
So Lawrence Fowler, welcome. Asks, how much gold in 400 ram sticks, all gold fingers? That's a tough question to answer.
A lot, a little, I don't know. It's one of the questions, one of the things that you see a lot in the chats in the gold refining forum is you have these people who are constantly wondering, well, how much gold is in this? How much gold is in that? Well, the thing is, you can't answer that because it's there's so many variables.
Yeah.
How old are the ram sticks? Who's the manufacturer? What country were they made in? There's so many different things that can vary the amount of gold content in them that you could be off by 2 or 3 grams, and that's a big amount to be off by. But if you've got 400 ram sticks, all gold fingers, I'd like to know the weight first and foremost. If you could tell me the weight, I could probably tell you at a minimum of what you should be getting. You could get a lot more, but again, it's hard to really say.
Bubba Fudpucker asks, welcome, by the way. Will you be saving this session as a video or deleting it?
Oh, saving it, absolutely. Especially with a guy like Bubba Fudpucker in there. I'm actually going to keep that. Just for you, Bubba.
That's an awesome name, seriously. I know a few people that have that striking names like that. One of them's I Pick My Butt. You remember? I don't know if you know I Pick My Butt, but there's a YouTuber called I Pick My Butt. It's awesome.
You'll never forget that name. You'll never forget it.
Nope, never, ever, ever. It's a great conversational piece. So Christy says, cash for computerscrap.com, bought gold memory for $14.85 right now and $20 for gold trim. Well, there.
All right.
Jackpot Digger, lulz. 2-part video on it, Chris. Not talking with beginner here, just messing with you, but love Moose answer. Thank you, Jackpot. Appreciate you backing us up on that. I've got 30 pounds of mercury from old tubes. Any idea where to sell? The scrapyard refused them.
Yeah. If you've got that much mercury, I don't know where you're located at, but I would probably contact someone in, let's see, here in Portland, it would be Riverside Recycling. They have 1 day a month where they take toxic materials. So at this point, it's not about mercury being a metal. It's about having a toxic material that you need disposal of. So you would need to contact your local town hall and inquire about toxic waste disposal. They're the ones who would help you out with that. And as far as sell the mercury quietly in person to small-scale gold miners, Bubba, that's not nice.
Centricus says, Moose, have you heard of scrapmetalforum.com? Some reliable sources, buyers, sellers, and knowledge for scrappers. I use buyers from this forum when I scrap large amounts for my business.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I was actually part of that group for a little while, before I took a little hiatus from YouTube. Yeah, they're a good group of folks, but they're more on. They try, the last I recall, and it was they only dabbled a little bit in the gold refining stuff and e-waste. They did a lot more of just like the regular, more common metals. But yeah, they were a great resource. Absolutely. Contact your local neon sign shop for mercury. Ooh, try that too.
Sorry, I thought the two-part video was about cash for electronic scrap or electronic scrap USA and not cash for computerscrap.com.
Oh, I get confused between them. I mean, their names are so freaking close. It's the one where the payouts are labeled CJ Environmental. True Helper says, "Hey, Moose and guest. That is Bob Gill of Gill Skills. He is not a guest. He is a co-host."
How are you, buddy?
I followed Moose for years. His informative videos have helped us a whole lot. Thank you kindly, and scrap on, my friend. Thank you very much, and you as well. Scrapping it's not only a great way to fill your time. It's a great way to make some money and to help the environment. So everybody wins.
Truth. Christy says, I've seen the videos.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Don't forget to hit that like button for our good buddy Moose, guys. Seriously.
Ooh, we're up to 30.
Yes, we are.
All right. So I've already talked about that. Let's see. All right. Well, I guess the other topics that I wanted to discuss are less important.
But if they are topics of discussion, why not talk about them?
How's the weather up there in the Great White North? Well, it is just that, great and white.
Yes.
Yep, but it might not be white for long because we're supposed to get like 3 days of rain. So that might get rid of the 5 or 6 inches that I have on the ground here.
Yeah, we have about the same amount up here. Can you imagine if that 3 days of rain was 3 days of snow?
Yep. That'd be a lot of the white stuff.
Rain. I don't mind rain. Rain is our friend.
Mm-hmm. Vermont's great. Is that where you're from, Christy? Vermont? Thanks, guys. Keep it up. Thanks, Mr. Addis. Or Miss
Jackpot Digger's asking if you have merch, Moose.
Yes, actually, I do. Strangely, you should ask that.
Check out the description below, guys. There is, he does have a merch store. You can get all sorts of cool stuff, including T-shirts, long sleeve shirts, a really cool looking mug, and more. A lot of really nice stuff. Check it out.
So one of the, and I really hope that, I was talking to Bob about this earlier. I'm really trying to not come off as sounding like I'm a sellout or something like that, by coming up with this merch line. But I want to be able to spend more time, on YouTube. But to do that, I need to make up for the money that I wouldn't be making other places. So YouTube, I don't know if it's because I'm getting close to the 50,000 sub marker, but they've been sending me all these little things like, hey, you can start your own line of merchandise through Teespring. So I'm like, all right, I tried that out. So I've got that going. And I was also turned on to the Amazon influencer program. So on the bottom of a lot of my videos in the description, you'll see a link to Moosazon, which is it's basically a storefront for other people's merchandise, but because I'm drawing traffic there, I get a commission of anything you buy. And anything that's in my storefront is stuff that's related to my videos, or scrapping or gold recovery, or for DIY Daddy channel, anything related to that. So I'm doing that as well. And
not to cut you off, Moose, but if you guys look at the screen here, you can actually see just below the live stream where you would find Moose Scrapper's merchandise. Right here where the little cursor is. And there's all sorts of good stuff. And it's a great way to support, the Moose Scrapper and help him maintain his channel and keep making awesome videos and keep enlightening us with his product knowledge, or his knowledge in general, I should say.
Yeah, and the only other thing that I was going to mention on that is, the only other thing that I have to support the channel besides that little tip jar thing in the corner, which is kind of weird, but whatever, is I plan on releasing some ebooks on Amazon as well. Just 99-cent or $1.99 books. They're short books, basically on all of my notes on gold recovery. So I'm going to try and have them released at the beginning of the year. And that's just another way to help support the channel. Everything.
Go ahead.
Pretty much. Yeah, sorry. Pretty much everything that's in them is going to be stuff that's in my videos in some way or another. I'm not hiding information from anyone. I don't want to make anyone have to pay for information. It's just getting it in a written format with pictures and very clear, concise things where you can just look at instead of having to roll through a video. That's it. True. I'm done.
Chris says yes, Vermont warmed up to almost 40 today. Woo!
Heat wave.
And Jackpot Digger thinks as I do. He says, don't think like that, Moose. You deserve it. Old Silver, welcome. What are your thoughts on stripping wire before turning it in? This is a very, very, very...
Can we talk about this?
Yes, this is a very, very interesting discussion.
Oops, I touched something I wasn't supposed to touch. As my thoughts are this. If you have the time, all right, and it's going to make you more money, go ahead and do it. Personally, I used to strip every single wire out there. I used to be in a very different place financially. So, braided, wire from like power cords, from everything, from toasters to microwaves, whatever. I used to strip it all. Then I stopped for a while. I started just, stripping really thick. If it was, that thick, then I'd strip it. And then I got to a point where I wasn't stripping anything because I just didn't have the time or the place. Now, one of the things that I want to work on getting is one of those propane furnaces to smelt ingots and bars, just like E-Waste Ben. I love those freaking videos.
Me too.
So I'm going to start stripping wire in videos just for the purpose of doing that. But yeah, so stripping wire, if it's something that you have the time to do and want to do, go for it. If you do it a lot, you might want to consider investing in a wire stripper.
Yes, for sure.
If not, there's all kinds of little, as I say in French, patents that you can make to, strip your own wire. Von Scrapper has, or Scrap Hawk, I think it's one of those two. He's got a video where, he's just got like a 2x4 with a razor blade screwed into it that he's stripping wire like a madman through it. So there's all kinds of ways to do this. Ken Nance is another guy who follows me on YouTube. He's coming up with a wire stripper that's basically 2 rollers from a treadmill that squeezes the wire and strips it that way. So I mean, there's all kinds of ways to, you know, to strip it. So you can, a lot of these things you can create yourself with stuff that you find scrapping.
I completely agree. I mean, it really boils down to what you feel your time is worth, how much time you have, and really how much material you get on a regular basis. You know, if you get a ton of wire, I mean, and you don't have a whole lot of time, it's still very much sellable to the scrapyard as insulated number 2, or whatever you have for that matter. Jackpot Digger says, I support you and will soon drink my coffee in a moose mug.
Well, thank you. And remember, they're good for more than just coffee.
Indeed they are. If I remember correctly, Jackpot Digger also has a Scrap and Pallet Man mug. So I might have to make it my life mission to start buying mugs from all my favorite YouTubers.
Well, you know, Bob, I'm looking at that big green wall behind you, and you know what'd look really good up there? That Skillz sign that your fan made you, with a shelf underneath it with, you know, all kinds of like coffee mugs from, you know, other people that, you know, you support and support you.
You're absolutely right. I think that would be a fantastic idea. The only issue, though, is I would be using those mugs for actual coffee as well. So you probably see one missing every now and then on a live stream. That's because I'm drinking from it. Let's see. I'd love to get some merch, but there isn't a link in your description yet, nor in your About section, my friend. We love some hoodies if you have them. Oh, okay. And he says after that he's on his iPhone, so maybe that's why my YouTube app isn't showing it. So.
And for the wire stripper electric Chris, check out the one Hubers81 bought, one just like it. And it's a scrap life changer, a true friend to me now. All right.
So I feel like stripping wire is a waste of time unless it's heavy gauge or Romex.
Yep.
You see, yeah, I mean, it really boils down to, it's a matter of opinion. There's different levels of scrappers. There's your hobbyist, which, you know, hobbyists would strip wire to do things like Moose is going to do, you know, melt it into ingots and things like that. There's people that are part-time scrappers, and that's where you get a little fuzzy. I've made a video about this too. You know, you could go either way. You could strip the number 2, or you could just leave it as insulated and send it to the scrapyard that way. Full-time scrappers don't have the time to do any of that, unless, like you said, unless it's Romex or some pretty heavy gauge wire. So it depends. There's a lot of variables.
Yep. All right. And Bubba Fudpucker, nobody has merch to fit me. 3X tall here. Oh, I've got merch to fit you. If it fits me, it'll fit you. And yes, E-Waste Ben is cool too. I love that guy.
Yes.
To begin with, the Australian accent, I love it. I could sit there and listen to that all day long. Huge Crocodile Dundee fan, but whatever. But I mean, his videos, I mean, some of them, you look at it and it's like, okay, it's a video of him just checking out piles of trash on the side of the road for an hour, but you sit there and you're just watching like, wow, look at all the crap they throw out. And it's just, it sucks you right in. And then you're wondering, why isn't he picking up all the steel? If someone, and I even asked him that in one of his videos, and I don't get it. I mean, if someone had like a truck and trailer, they could make a killing there just on irony stuff. But,
every time I watch one of his videos, it reminds me of a flea market. You know, he's going up and down the road, and it looks like a flea market of scrap on both sides.
Yep. But see, the thing is, though, is that I'm hoping they don't do like what they did here in Portland. We used to have all trash day twice a year here in Portland, but they stopped it because too many people were going out in the morning and picking up stuff and making too much noise and too much of a mess. So,
oh man,
I'm hoping that doesn't happen over there in Australia.
Big Cake says, I have a potato peeler. It works well.
Yeah, I've seen people use that. Yeah. Copper mine handheld stripping tool is good. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. But there, I mean, there's.
Ambition 905 says, is it worth breaking Christmas light bulbs for brass sockets, or is it too hazardous for small payout?
Yeah, in my opinion, probably too hazardous for very small payout and a lot of time. Christmas lights. You can most scrapyards have a category just for Christmas lights, so it's better off just taking that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, Jackpot Digger says, been a long time not doing it by hand. Had a tennis elbow once because of that. Yeah, no, I've got a wire stripper too, and I use it a lot.
Yeah, the automated ones are really nice. I've got one that I got from TNT Tooling a while back that you hook up a cordless drill to, and that's my go-to stripper.
Coppermine handheld stripping tool is good. Let's see. Williams Wallert, welcome. Have a Coppermine Model 500 pay for itself 6 times over with the first year. Yeah, I mean, you get yourself dialed in with the right, right wire stripper. You're golden, man.
And that's a big thing too. I mean, a lot of these wire strippers that they have, there's a learning curve to them. Once you learn how to use one well, it's like like the wire strippers that I gave to you, Bob. Those little TNT tooling ones that had the 6 holes in it, right? Some people can't get them to work for them for the life of them, and others, they freaking love it. Once they get it dialed in, they know how to use it. They're stripping wire like mad people. So a lot of these things are, it's like a lot of other things. You got to try it out, and unfortunately, with these things, you have to buy them before you can try them. But so Bubba Fudpucker says,
I love that name.
I was friends with the owners of our local family owner scrapyard and had tons of opportunity. Sadly, he retired, and the new corporate owner won't let me salvage anything for them. Well, that's horrible. Yeah, corporate's not fun. I know that there's a scrapyard right near me that is corporate. They're actually worldwide, but I mean, they buy and sell scrap like every other scrapyard. So at one point, I'd gone in and asked them because they weren't buying a lot of e-waste. And I told them, I said, look, I mean, I will give you this much per pound if you accept processors and RAM sticks and PCI cards. And they wouldn't even give me the time of day. So,
wow.
All right, Casey Hubble, what's up, Moose? Not much, just a live stream. How you doing, Casey?
Good to see you, though.
Yeah. Bubba Fudpucker, nearest family yard is now... I'm going to screw up that name before the end of the night, and it's not going to come out Bubba Fudpucker. I'm just saying.
And at that moment, we will go.
Yeah. All right. And nearest family yard is now 30 miles from me, too. Too far to visit regularly. Yeah, that's... Ooh, message retracted. That's not good. Thank you. Good to know. Have about 11 55-gallon drums of scrap computer cables. Has value of mixed wire, but the copper is 4x more valuable. Seriously considering an electric machine. Yeah, the only problem with those computer cables sometimes is that the wires in them are so tiny. Yeah. It's like a big cluster of tiny, tiny wires. So it's a lot of work to get that copper out.
Right.
I saw Mount Baker Mining and Metals. They actually had a video where one of their refiners sent them a bunch of this communications cable that they, in order to effectively get all the copper out, they literally had to like crush it or like grind it down to like like almost 100 mesh. I mean, it was like really, really fine stuff. And then that's how they're able to like use an air table to get all the plastic insulation off and have just the copper. That's a lot of work for not much. All right, John Zareth. Ambition depends on the amount you have. It's jumped again. Check out a book called Junkyard Planet. It has a short story about a Chinese guy that started scrapping Christmas lights and where he is now. I'll check that out. Junkyard Planet. Write that down.
Jackpot Digger says, did a video about Christmas light, ended up doing $3 per hour, just cutting the bulbs for copper wire, not even thought maybe pulling out the brass.
So, again, what's your time worth to you? Is it worth $3 an hour?
Yeah, it's a return on investment thing.
Right.
And of course, Jackpot Digger, he's no newbie when it comes to scrap too. He's been around for quite a while. He knows his stuff.
Yep. And a lot of this stuff, I mean, like, I know, especially with me in the wintertime, it's a lot of, well, what am I going to do tonight? Am I going to sit in front of the TV because it's too cold to do anything outside? And if I'm just sitting there, why shouldn't I be doing something else? Like, depopulating circuit boards or stripping wire or something.
Oh, yeah. That's my mentality. If you're watching TV, you can sit down and strip wire and watch TV, or scrap something and watch TV.
True Helper says, that's an awesome name. Hello, Bubba. It is. It certainly is. Let's see. Jackpot Digger.
Great advice, Jackpot.
Don't strip less than 50% copper content. That's probably pretty good advice right there. John Zara says, better just use Bubba from now on. All right, I will. Bubba.
I like Bubba. Yeah, that works. That's safe.
Yeah.
Population Parallax says, how do you guys acquire e-waste? Do you have any tips? I run an e-waste company in South Carolina and do pretty well advertising to businesses, but I'm always looking for more sources.
Yeah, well, all right. So this is, again, and we've had this question earlier tonight as well. Where do you get your e-waste scrap? So again, with me personally, it was putting ads on Craigslist and this Yahoo group called FreeCycle. It sprawled out to word of mouth. But and I totally lost my train of thought on that. Sorry.
Well, while he's regaining his train of thought, one thing that you probably have already done, you may not have, but making yourself a set of business cards and, handing them out through the local community and the local businesses, because, really, that's the best way. You're complementing the word of mouth. And I think Moose agrees, depending on what he's saying there. I see.
Yeah, business cards, they're dirt cheap. You can get like 500 for $10.
Vistaprint.
Vistaprint, yep. And something that I've noticed a lot of, especially down here in Southern Maine, which I think is fascinating, is that people are doing fundraisers for e-scrap, which I think is awesome. I'll see a lot of like WMPG, which is like a local radio station, some local churches, local schools even. You can host a recycling event where you will, tell like whatever elementary school that for every computer they collect, you'll give them $1 or $1.50 or something like that. And then you turn around and scrap the rest and make a lot more than that. But it's a fundraiser that you can advertise. They'll put little signs up by the road, advertise. Some radio stations will do free public service advertising. So, it's a good way to get your name out there and get a lot of stuff quickly. It's something that I haven't tried yet because I'm afraid of what might happen. I wouldn't want to get overwhelmed. I don't own a company like you do in South Carolina, but that's an option right there. Jackpot Digger, scrapping is always a learning curve. It certainly is. Yep. I don't think there's anything else to say about that.
Jackpot says, can't find someone buying more than $3.50 per pound for RAM. That's unfortunate. That really is unfortunate.
And it kind of surprises me that there aren't any like online refiners in Canada that aren't offering more than that as well.
I'm just checking something out here real quick.
And the unfortunate thing is that, being in Canada, I know of a lot of refiners in the States, but to ship it, you'd be losing. The shipping would be expensive. How much did you say you had, Jackpot Digger? How many pounds of RAM do you have? And Bubba Fudpucker says, Population Parallax, Charlotte, North Carolina, is the financial capital of the U.S. Can you try to get into the market, or is it too far? I think that was directed towards Population Parallax. Let's see. I mail postcards to many types of businesses in my city, and it works really well. Yep. Yeah, Bubba, that's my city. Oh, you guys are in the same area. Nice. It's a small freaking world.
Yeah, gold only figured memory RAM, according to gold boardsort.com. I kind of use them as the standard for pricing, is currently selling at $15 per pound
Hmm.
for memory RAM.
But with BoardSort, you have to pay your own shipping. So,
Well, right. That's true.
but you can use an international flat rate box and cram the heck out of it. And if it's all RAM, you could still make a good profit. Those flat rate boxes, a lot of people don't know about those, and they're so nice to have.
As is that Moose Juice mug.
Here we go. Shameless plugs.
Hey, I got your back, buddy.
All right, and let's see. Ooh, we just got to place an ad. The paper for a 2-hour drop-off in location. Let them come to you. For me, did that within 2 hours. Had 20 yards of computer towers, laptops, etc., and future leads. Wow, that's pretty friggin' impressive.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible.
Let's see. Bear Chief, Bubba, Parallax. The banks in Charlotte have lots and lots of federal regulations. Right.
So yeah, William says all he uses is a pickup truck with sidewalls and a dump trailer. That's awesome. That's a success story if I ever heard one.
Yep.
Yes, you're a good kitty. My cat, she's sitting there. She's like, pet me.
Where's the dog? Is the dog going to get jealous?
Yeah, the dog's already on its way over here.
You said pet me. You said pet me. You said pet me. Look at
That's
the tail
exactly what I said. Pet me. Oh, you go, girl. I want a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. No hugs? You gonna give me a hug? Give me a hug. What's the matter with you? What's your matter? Sky Cam. She's the official Skillz mascot.
There you go.
So yes, for the Scrapper Tour 2019, I plan on making a road trip and going from Maine to the Illinois area, where I will be visiting a bunch of YouTubers, and I will be stopping in Ohio at boardsort.com on the way through and cashing in all of my e-waste.
Wow, so you're not going on a road trip on your bike?
No. No, I am not.
All right, folks. This is it's 9:09, so let's do last call here. We'll do the last say 10 minutes, and then we're going to wrap it up for the night. Last call.
Last call. It's been a lot of fun tonight. Aside from all the technical difficulties, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys.
All right, what are you saying? What'd you say? I can't hear you.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. Yeah, Sky did get jealous. I started playing with the cat. Sky immediately came over and wanted attention.
Contact accounting offices, lawyers' office, retirement homes, small local banks for leads. Yeah, I mean, some of my best scrap, like large loads, have been in an attorney's office and a small manufacturing company up in Freeport.
Call centers is also an excellent lead.
Yep.
Call centers. So
Especially
you know the right
for
person?
phones.
Yes.
But not hospitals. Hospitals are horrible. You will not get anything from hospitals. At least not computers anyway. They're very the whole health information protection stuff. Yeah, they're really strict. At least the ones that I've dealt with. Even when it comes to things like power strips. So
Gotta love the brass out of those puppies.
yeah. I'd love it even more if I had like 3,000 of them to take part.
I know. That was, I can't believe they didn't want to play ball with you. You know, they just wanted to hire a secondary company and pay all sorts of extra money to have them removed when they're just going to throw them away.
And I followed up with one of the guys who was replacing all these things. And he's like, yeah, they all ended up in the dumpster. And a couple of our guys, at least a couple of the guys that worked there, knew that they had scrap value and emptied the dumpster out. So they didn't end up in a landfill, which is great. But
yeah. But still, I mean, it was the same end result. I mean, scrappers ended up getting a hold of it anyway. So why didn't they just cut out all the middlemen and save a ton of money and just give it to you?
Right.
You know?
I was right there. My truck was right in the parking lot.
That's right.
All right. See, William Waller says, I currently have over 100 AC units, a pile of wire to be stripped equal to 2 cords of wood.
Whoa.
AC, I think it's radiators. 11 55-gallon drums of number 2 copper. 3 60-gallon pails of copper number 1. Wow, you've got a nice little load there, bud.
Yeah, that's certainly a nice little nest egg. I'm sure you're probably waiting until the price is right before you cash in on all those goodies.
Yeah, and be careful who you tell about that. I've got a friend just down the street here who's a plumber, and he had a couple 100 pounds of copper stolen out of his shed in his backyard a few weeks ago. So keep that stuff locked up. All right. E-Waste Ben does great with schools. Yeah, and it looks like he does like an Australian Best Buy or something. There was one video that he had where he was like... He just like kept on bringing this 2-wheel truck in and out, and there was like this big shelving unit of just like old computers. So yeah, so places like that might be a good. And another thing, this guy that I used to know, he used to talk to those people at the kiosks in malls for cell phones. A lot of those places, they'll take in like old cell phones and they just chuck them. So if you can get in with them, and the SIM cards there as well, see if you can talk to these folks. A big part of this is just being, vocal, being verbal, getting out there and doing the work of, introducing yourself, getting to know these people, and telling them what you're looking for.
Exactly. Bubba Fudpucker says, sorry I joined late. Goatee guy, please email me.
Goatee guy. So
well, I don't know. You kind of got a goatee going too. I'm not sure which one of us he's talking about.
This is the full beard going on.
I know, but like you've got it's like your goatee is a little darker,
right? Yeah, everything else is white.
It's like you got 2 beards going on. No.
Right. Well, after November, all right. I'm thinking about making my viewers decide what I do. Do I go with like the Tony Stark shave? Do I go like the Amish thing? How do I cut this off? Because this is not staying.
That could be a future poll, guys. So please stay tuned to the Moose Scrappers channel for that.
Right. Yep. All right. I don't like board sort. Too small of payout. I'm a straight refiner guy. I was before the local scrapyard. Yeah, I mean, again, to each their own. I mean, everyone has positive and negative experiences with any place. So, you got to do what works best for you.
So yeah, Bubba, I can certainly email you, but what would you like me to email you about is my question.
But how you get that goatee looking so great.
Geez, we could talk about that over the chat.
There you go. You look like one of the folks from ZZ Top. Look at that. There we go.
Do the Vinnie Paul sideburns and a goat.
Yep. So
Vinnie Paul, is that the guy that was on the American Choppers? Probably not. There was a guy named Vinnie. Oh well. See, if it wasn't from videos from Moose and the Mike the Scrapper, E-Waste Ben, that is how I learned and grew. That's cool, William. That is cool.
Yeah, Mike is one of the guys that got me into it as well. And he's still pumping them out a little bit here and there. So that's kind of nice to see.
Oh, Bubba's solution to avoiding board sort. Okay. If you're going to Chicago via Ohio. Yep. Yeah, I can get in touch with you.
John says, just keep the chin warmer, Moose. You're in Maine, for God's sakes. Yes, I'm in Maine, but
that's why I've got the fuzzy. It's long and fuzzy.
All right. This is my winter coat. All right. I don't wear anything until probably January or February outside. I'm one of those people that gets super hot really quick. It drives a lot of people around me crazy. They keep looking at me like, why the hell aren't you wearing a jacket? And I just look at them and I say, well, have you ever seen a shivering walrus? No. So leave me alone. I mean, I stay warm easily. So this
can't argue with that.
This makes me a little too warm.
Zane Cole says, hello from South Carolina. Hey, welcome.
Hello. Up and down the East Coast. Nice.
Indeed.
Rest in peace, Vinny, drummer from Pantera and Hell Yeah. Oh, all right. I didn't know the drummer from Pantera died. That's horrible. Jackpot. I considering a copper mine 620 and buying wire. All right. Oh, that's for the wire stripper from earlier. Yep. All right. Bubba. Okay, write it down. Deleting email address in about a minute. Thanks.
I'm working on it.
I'm working. Work faster, man. We've got 2 minutes. I actually worked on about 27. All right. So, wow, dude. So the William guy who had all that stuff earlier says he actually works out of a 27 by 27 garage and a 20 by 20 pad, 4 feet deep, an area under the deck. Wow, you got that stuff crammed in there pretty tight, bud.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like Jackpot Dig is heading out. Have a going on. Good one.
Jackpot, thank you for stopping by, bud. It's always good to see you.
It's 2:17. I'm here in the U.
Probably the UK.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah, they're about 5 hours ahead of us.
I'm a little slow sometimes. Sorry. All right, the champ is here. Scrapping dude.
Scrapping dude.
Yep, here right at the end of the live stream.
I'm just writing down Bubba Fudpucker's name.
Really? Really? You're not going to remember that? Bubba Fudpucker?
Trust me, I wouldn't. There we go. Written down.
All right. Well, peace out, Jackpot.
Take care, buddy. Have a great night.
Well, it is 10 minutes later, so we are going to be signing off. So I just want to thank all you guys. Yeah, thank you all for coming out. Hope to see you on the next one. Looks like, Bob, you're going to be doing these on Saturday night?
Yes. Yes, I will be. But, like I said, I don't mind. If you want to do yours on Saturday night too, that's totally cool. I don't mind switching on over and hanging out with you.
No, I'd rather do mine on Friday night so that I can, hang out and bug you on your live stream.
Fair enough. So yeah, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when I usually do my live streams. So hopefully I'll see you all there.
That's right. You guys heard it. Say it again. Tuesdays,
Thursdays, and Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you all there.
There we go. Perfect. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for asking questions and participating. Thank you all for all your support. And have a good night.
Take care, guys. There we go.